Eric Cantona.
Eric Cantona, yet again, is the United hero.
Oh, what's going on here? Cantona's getting involved with some supporters. Oh, this is outrageous.
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
Portugal, it's like a bottle of ketchup. Nothing for 90 minutes, and it comes out at once. There can only be one king in Manchester. You can be the prince if you want to. King is gone. Long live the prince!
Cantona, I mean, a French guy that goes and plays for Man United and your nickname is the king. I was like, wow.
Only accidents, crimes, wars will still kill us. I love football.
Thank you, Eric.
Who the heck is this dude? He looks like a regular senior citizen and sounds a bit like a confused philosopher, but this man right here is one of the greatest and most entertaining footballers the Premier League has ever seen. He might seem like your average Joe, but his life is a story of civil wars, prison sentences, Hollywood lights, and multiple controversies. Trust me, you have never met a footballer as eccentric as this before. Before Zinedine Zidane and Thierry Henry, he was the French savior. His name is Eric Cantona, the man no one understood, but everyone enjoyed. He was born in Marseille, France in 1966 to an Italian dad and a Spanish mom. His dad was a nurse and painter who used to play amateur football while his mum was a dressmaker. But Cantona's lineage was actually a lot more interesting than that. His maternal grandfather fought the armies of General Franco in the Spanish Civil War back in 1938. In fact, it was because of an injury he sustained during that war that he emigrated to and settled in France with his family. Little did he know that his grandson would also go on to serve in the military. Cantona was a bit of a late bloomer. While others were starting their footballing journeys as young as 7 years old, Eric's journey didn't kick off until he was 14 when he joined his local team, SO Kelole. He wanted to be like his father, so he started out playing as a goalkeeper, but it didn't take long for his attacking talent to shine, so he was pushed further up the pitch. After a year dazzling in his local team, he earned a move to Auxerre, joining their youth team in 1983. Just a year later, he left football to go do military service. He returned in 1985 and was loaned out to Martigues, but the following year, he returned to Auxerre and signed a professional contract with them at the age of 20. At this point, everyone thought that this lad's career was about to take off, but he went and did a really stupid thing which derailed his career. We'll talk about that soon, but at this point, Cantona was gaining popularity really quickly in France. He was doing well in the league and had earned his France debut. This was the future of French football, everyone thought. But then, in a game against Nantes in 1987, he produced one of the craziest tackles we have ever seen. He flew right into Michel Derzakarian with both feet in what looked like a kung fu kick, and then went on to push another opponent in the face. Everyone was wondering what the heck was going through Cantona's mind at that point, but these rash decisions and kung fu kicks would turn out to be the theme of his career. For that dangerous tackle, he received a 3-month ban, but after Auxerre threatened to make him unavailable to the France national team, it was reduced to 2. In the summer of 1988, Cantona led France's under-21 team to Euro success, and shortly after, he earned a dream transfer to Marseille, the club he supported as a kid. But as Cantona's fame rose, so did his temper, and France was about to meet its most unpredictable superstar. Not long after his move to Marseille, Cantona went on TV and insulted the France national team coach.
I was reading an article by Mickey Rourke, who's a guy I really like, and he referred to the people who attributed the Oscars in Hollywood as bags. Well, I think that Henri Michel is not far from being included in that category.
And for that, he was banned from international football for 1 year. Like that wasn't bad enough, Cantona went on to compound his woes just a few months later with another silly act. It was a game against Torpedo Moscow. Cantona was substituted and he responded by kicking the ball into the crowd, taking his shirt off and throwing it on the pitch. It was just a friendly game, but it was a massive slap on the face of the club, so Marseille responded by banning him for a month. So, for a period of time that season, Cantona was playing for neither club nor country, all because of his attitude. But believe it or not, it actually got worse. All of that drama affected Cantona at Marseille, so he left to join Bordeaux on a 6-month loan. Things weren't exactly great there either, so he moved again to join Montpellier on a 1-year loan. While on loan at Montpellier, he got involved in a fight which saw him throw a boot in the face of a teammate, Jean-Claude Lemar. Because of this, about 6 players demanded that the club immediately terminate his loan contract. They wanted him out immediately. The club eventually decided to keep him though, and his talent saved him. Cantona was electric on the pitch and helped Montpellier win the French Cup that season. Seeing how good he was at Montpellier, Marseille decided to give him another chance, so they welcomed him back. It wasn't exactly the best decision. His second stint at Marseille started out well, to be fair, but he soon started to have disagreements with the club chairman and coach, so although he was still delivering on the pitch, even helped them win the league, the club decided to just cut ties permanently, selling him to Nimes in 1991. Now, did the permanent move away from his dream club force Cantona to change? You bet it didn't. At Nimes, he was still the same rascal everyone had come to know. Just a few months after he signed, he threw a ball at the referee during a game because he was unhappy with a call he made. Of course, he was sent off for that and was banned for a month, but that ban was increased to 2 months after Cantona did the craziest thing ever. You won't believe what he did. So, the French Football Federation had summoned Cantona to appear before a disciplinary committee over his actions towards the referee. And guess what Cantona did? He walked up to every member of the committee and called each of them an idiot to their face one after another. It was the craziest thing, and of course, it only made matters worse for him, as his ban was increased to 2 months. Once again, no one could ever understand what went on in Eric Cantona's head. As a result of his ban being extended, Cantona announced his retirement from football in December 1991 at the age of 25. Of course, that announcement rocked the entire world of football. This was one of the best talents in world football who had not even come close to reaching his full potential, and he was already done. No way. Michel Platini, who was France's coach at the time, took it upon himself to make sure that France didn't lose this gem. He convinced Cantona to reverse his decision and even went as far as trying to get a new club to sign him. He went to Graham Souness, who was Liverpool coach at the time, and begged him to sign Cantona. But Souness rejected the offer, saying that he didn't want to disrupt his squad harmony. At this point, Platini, Gérard Houllier, Cantona's psychoanalyst, had gotten the footballer to come back from retirement and return to football, but his psychoanalyst told him to leave France and move to England, so he was focused on that and that alone. After the Liverpool rejection, he went for a trial at newly promoted Sheffield Wednesday. The coach was ready to take Cantona as a favour to Platini and Dennis Roach, but the club just could not afford him, so that didn't work out. Anyway, after weeks of looking for an English club to join without success, Leeds United finally came to his rescue. Cantona joined Leeds in January 1992 for £1 million, and it turned out to be an incredible bargain. He helped Leeds win the last ever Football League First Division trophy just before it was replaced by the Premier League in 1992. Winning the league qualified Leeds for the charity game, where Cantona scored a hat-trick to secure a victory against Liverpool. It was the first hat-trick in the Charity Shield in 35 years. In the first game of the Premier League season, Eric Cantona received a yellow card, and it was worth noting because it was his first in 17 games in English football. Has he changed? You'll see. Cantona continued to enjoy his time with Leeds, and he had also returned to the France national team. Everything was going perfectly for him until October, when Leeds started to struggle. They lost to Rangers in the European Cup, and during the game in Scotland, Cantona walked straight down the tunnel after he was substituted, something the coach found very disrespectful. As a result, he decided to punish Cantona by reducing his playing time, leaving him on the bench in subsequent games against QPR and Coventry City in the Premier League. When he played against City in the Premier League and Watford in the League Cup, he was uninspiring and even missed big chances. This led the coach to leave Cantona on the bench again against Arsenal. In his absence, Leeds surprisingly won that game 3-0, ending Arsenal's 6-game winning streak. That day, Leeds won the match, but they lost Eric Cantona. Cantona was unhappy about being dropped, so he stopped coming in for training and handed in a transfer request, saying he wanted to move to Liverpool, Arsenal or Manchester United. Interestingly, many pundits thought it was for the best.
What's happened yesterday and today has pleased Eric Cantona. Everyone's got away from the table.
They thought Cantona was disruptive, so letting him go seemed like the right thing to do. Leeds also didn't mind, so they quickly facilitated his exit. And 2 days after he faxed his transfer request, Cantona was signed by Manchester United for £1 million.
But the £1.2 million move has provoked a wave of anger among the Leeds supporters.
Now, for those who don't know, Leeds United and Manchester United are really bitter rivals, so Cantona moving to Old Trafford did not go down well with the Leeds fans at all. So before he even kicked a ball for Man United, he already had enemies waiting and hoping for his downfall. But Cantona never needed anyone to bring him down. He could do that all by himself. However, he was also so very talented that he would always be super impactful in spite of his attitude. You see, United were pretty disappointing in the first half of the 1992-93 season. They were sitting 10th on the table in November, but Cantona made his debut in December and almost single-handedly turned things around for the club. Things were going so well for him, but he just could not stay out of drama, and it was not very surprising that his first taste of drama in a United shirt came on his return to Leeds. As expected, much of the home crowd at Elland Road taunted him all game, and Cantona eventually took the bait, spitting at one of the fans. The FA fined him £1,000 for that, but that was the most insignificant controversy he was involved in at United. There was much bigger stuff to come. But as far as the first few months at the club were concerned, he was a saviour. From 10th place in November, United ended up 10 points clear at the top of the table, with the team having lost only 2 games since Cantona's debut. He led the Red Devils to their first league title in 26 years and kick-started the Manchester United Premier League dynasty. With that title, Eric Cantona became the first player to win back-to-back English league titles with 2 different clubs. It was also his 3rd straight league title, all with different clubs, after having won the French league with Marseille and the English First Division with Leeds. The following year, Cantona helped United successfully defend their league title. They also completed the double after Cantona's 2 penalty goals helped United defeat Chelsea 4-0 in the FA Cup final. That season, Eric Cantona finished as Man United's top scorer and was named the PFA Player of the Year. The 1994-95 season started with Cantona looking to lead United to a 3rd straight Premier League title, and everything was going brilliantly until the infamous incident of January 25th, 1995, the day Man United travelled to Selhurst Park to face Crystal Palace in the Premier League. That game was a pretty tough one for Cantona, with Crystal Palace defender Richard Shaw close marking him all game. Frustrated, Cantona kicked Shaw and saw a red card for that. But that wasn't even the headline. While he was marching off, Cantona suddenly turned toward the crowd and unleashed a kung fu kick on one of the Palace fans in the stands. Apparently, the fan had run down several flights of stairs to yell, "Fuck off back to France, you French bastard," at Cantona. Everyone watching knew that this was about to be the talk of the town for weeks to come. But what added another interesting layer to this drama was Cantona's little speech during the post-match conference.
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
After that very cryptic statement, he stood up and left, leaving everyone confused and bewildered. Once again, no one could really understand what went on in the head of this very talented footballer, but some said he was referring to how the media was waiting for a catchy story or headline to be thrown to them like seagulls waiting for sardines, but he wasn't going to indulge. However, when asked what the speech meant years later, Cantona said it meant nothing. What a guy, right? Anyway, for his kung fu kick on the fan, Cantona was charged with assault and was sentenced to 2 weeks in prison, a verdict which was later changed to 120 hours of community service. In addition to the criminal charge,
Manchester United has today suspended Eric Cantona from all first-team matches for the remainder of the 1994-95 season.
When the club said, look, we're going to suspend him, I think we thought, well, that's going to be strong enough.
The FA banned him for 8 months and fined him £10,000 on top of the £20,000 fine he was given by Man United. But his punishment didn't end there. FIFA stepped in and made his ban global so that he couldn't escape it by transferring to a club outside England. He was also stripped of captaincy of the France national team and never played a game for Les Bleus ever again.
The French Football Federation say they're stupefied by their national captain's behaviour and will be liaising with the FA. Claude Simonet, the General Secretary, adding, Cantona has virtually condemned himself from ever playing for France again. In his absence, United lost the Premier League title. It felt like everything came crashing down on him all at once. Frustrated with everything, Cantona considered leaving England to go and start afresh at Inter, but Ferguson convinced him to stay. The Frenchman returned after his ban and led United to another double, making them the first team to complete 2 doubles in the history of English football. He captained United in the FA Cup final against Liverpool that year and became the first non-British player to win the FA Cup as captain. He also memorably scored the only goal of that game. The season after that, Cantona became full-time captain of the club and led them to another Premier League trophy and a semi-final appearance in the European Cup, the furthest United had gotten in that competition in 28 years. Things were going so well with Cantona as Man United captain. He was now more mature, calmer and more responsible, so we were about to see the best version of him, everyone thought. But then, out of nowhere, he dropped a bombshell. After leading United to their 4th Premier League title in 5 years, Eric Cantona suddenly announced his retirement from football shortly before his 31st birthday.
Yes, I quit football because I lost my passion for the game. I'm sorry.
This time around, there was no turning back. He actually retired for real. In hindsight, it felt like he left football a little too early because just a year after his retirement, France won the World Cup. And a year after that, Man United completed the European treble. If Eric Cantona had been a part of those 2 squads, his legacy would have been absolutely untouchable. But even without those, he's still remembered as one of the greatest players the Premier League has ever seen. Yes, his career was marred by controversy everywhere he went, but his talent always shone through. He was eccentric and enjoyable. The way he moved, the way he would always stand his collar, the goals he scored, the confusing speeches he gave, everything just endeared Eric Cantona to the fans. And now, he sits comfortably in the Premier League Hall of Fame. After Cantona retired from football, he started to complete side quests. He took up a career in film, starring in about half a dozen movies, including Jack Says, French Film, and Looking for Eric. He also played beach soccer for a bit, and was player-manager of the France national team when they won the 2004 Euro and the inaugural FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup in 2005. Till date, Eric Cantona is remembered as one of the most entertaining players and one of the most interesting personalities to have ever graced the sport. But at the same time, he's one of the most cryptic and most difficult people to understand. In 2019, he was given the UEFA President's Award, and while accepting it, he quoted a bit of Shakespeare, talked about science, war, and crime in a very cryptic speech that broke the internet.
Accidents, crimes, wars will still kill us. But unfortunately, crimes
and wars will multiply. I love football. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
And left everyone confused. Some said he was taking a dig at UEFA and FIFA, talking about how they're killing players by overusing them just to make profit. But the man later admitted that he didn't actually think about the speech. He was just reading something on Francis Bacon earlier that day, and apparently the painter loved the sentence from Shakespeare's King Lear, so he just picked it from there. That's Cantona in a nutshell. A lot of times, he just spontaneously does things that leave the whole world very puzzled. And well, that's why we love him, innit? Well, since we're talking about players who always produced crazy tackles and just couldn't stay out of controversy, you might want to know the story of a certain mad dog who was made of rage and loyalty. Click here and I'll tell you the entire story of Gennaro Gattuso.